Our beautiful women of UPeace have been working passionately to create a night of laughs, conversation, blushing, and maybe even some tears. That being said, we would like to state that this performance contains potentially triggering material, including mentions of sexual assault. We encourage everyone in the audience to take care of themselves and each other during the performance and afterwards if any emotions come up. If the material feels too intense, you are welcome to step out of the room at any point while being respectful and considerate of our performers and other guests. Everything whispered will be heard and echoed for the rest of the room to hear due to the setup, so we ask to please silence your phones and rest your vocal cords for the next hour as our all-star UPeace cast brings to life that which brings us to life. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
I bet you're worried. We were worried.
We were worried about vaginas.
We were worried what we think about vaginas, and even more worried that we don't think about them. We were worried about our own vaginas. They needed a context of other vaginas, a community, a culture of vaginas. There's so much darkness and secrecy surrounding them, like the Bermuda Triangle. Nobody ever reports back from there. In the first place, it's not so easy to even find your vagina. Women go weeks, months, sometimes years without looking at it. A high-powered businesswoman was interviewed, and she said she was too busy. She didn't have the time. Looking at your vagina, she said, is a full day's work. You've got to get down there on your back in front of a mirror that's standing on its own, full-length preferred. You've got to get in the perfect position with the perfect light, which is then shadowed somehow by the mirror and the angle you're at. You get all twisted up. You're arching your head up, killing your back. You're exhausted by then. She said she didn't have the time for that. She was busy.
So there were vagina interviews, which became Vagina Monologues. Over 200 women were interviewed. Older women, young women, single women, lesbians, married women, college professors, actors, corporate professionals, sex workers, Black women, Native American women, Asian American women, Latina women, Caucasian women, Jewish women. Okay. At first, women were reluctant to talk. They were a little shy, but once they got going, you couldn't stop them. Women secretly love to talk about their vaginas. They get very excited, mainly because no one has ever asked them before.
Let's just start with the word vagina. It sounds like an infection at best, maybe a medical instrument. Hurry, nurse, bring me the vagina. 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 It doesn't matter how many times you say it. It never sounds like a word you want to say. It's a totally ridiculous, completely unsexy word. If you use it during sex, trying to be politically correct. Darling, could you stroke my vagina? You killed the act right there. We were worried about vaginas, what we call them and don't call them.
In Great Neck, New York, they call it a pussycat. A woman there said her mama used to tell her, don't wear your panties underneath your pajamas, dear. You need to air out your pussycat.
In Westchester, they call it a pookie. In New Jersey, a twat.
There's a powder box, a poochie, a poopy, a peepee, a poopaloo, a poonanny, a pal, and a peach.
Toady, Dee-Dee, Nishi, Dignity, Monkey Box, Coochie Snorcher, Cooter, Labby,
Gladys Siegelman,
Va, Wee Wee, Horse Spot, Nappy Dugout, Mongo, Mookie, a pajama, a fanny boo, a mushmallow,
a ghoulie, possible, tamale, totita, Connie,
a Mimi in Miami, a split knish in Philadelphia,
and a schmend in the Bronx.
We're worried about vaginas.
You cannot love a vagina unless you love hair. Many people do not love hair. My first and only husband hated hair. He said it was cluttered and dirty. He made me shave my vagina. I felt naked and exposed and like a little girl. And this excited him. When he made love to me, my vagina felt the way a beard must feel. It felt good to rub it and painful, like scratching a mosquito bite. It felt like it was on fire. There was screaming red bumps. I refused to shave my vagina again. And then my husband had an affair. When we went to marital therapy, he told the therapist that he screwed around on me because I wouldn't please him sexually. I wouldn't shave my vagina. The therapist had a German accent and would gasp between sentences to show her empathy. She asked me why I didn't want to please my husband. I told her I thought it was weird. I felt little when my hair was gone down there. I couldn't help but talk in a baby voice, and the skin was so irritated, even calamine lotion wouldn't help it. She said, marriage was a compromise. I asked her if shaving my vagina would stop my husband from screwing around. I asked her if she had many cases like this before. She said, questions diluted the process. I needed to jump in. She was sure it was a good beginning. This time, when we got home, he got to shave my vagina. It was like a therapy bonus prize. He clipped it a few times and there was a little blood in the bathtub. He didn't even notice, he was just so happy shaving me. And then later, when my husband was pressing against me, I could feel his spiky sharpness sticking into me, my naked, puffy vagina. There was no protection. There was no fluff. I realized then that hair is there for a reason. It's the leaf around the flower or the lawn around a house. You have to love hair in order to love the vagina. You don't just get to choose the parts that you want. And besides, my husband never stopped screwing around.
All of the women were asked the following questions. If your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
Glasses, a beret, a leather jacket, silk stockings, mink, a pink boa,
A male tuxedo, jeans, something form-fitting, emeralds, an evening gown, sequins, Armani only, a tutu, see-through black underwear, a taffeta ball gown.
something machine washable.
Costume eye mask, purple velvet pajamas, angora, a red bow, ermine and pearls, a leopard hat, a silk kimono, sweatpants, a tattoo,
An electric shock device to keep unwanted strangers away.
high heels, lace and combat boots, purple feathers, twigs and shells, cotton, a pinafore,
A bikini.
a slicker.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say? 2 words.
Slow down. Is that you?
Feed me.
I want.
Yum yum. Oh yeah.
Start again. No, over there. Lick me. Oh, stay home. Brave choice. Think again. More, please. Embrace me. Let's play. Don't stop. More. Remember me? Come inside. Not yet. Whoa, mama.
Yes, rock me. Enter at your own risk. Oh God, thank God, I'm here. Let's go, find me.
Thank you. Bonjour. Too hard. Don't give up.
Where's
Brian?
That's better. Yes, there.
My vagina is a shell, a round pink tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip, its center acute and deep, its scent delicate, its petals gentle, but sturdy. I did not always know this. I learned this in the Vagina workshop. I learned this from the woman who runs the Vagina workshop, who believes in vaginas, who really sees vaginas, who helps other women see their own vaginas by seeing other women's vaginas. In the first session, the woman who runs the Vagina workshop asked us to draw a picture of our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas. That's what she called them. She wanted to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas look like to us. One woman who was pregnant drew a big red mouth screaming with coins spilling out. Another very slender woman drew a big serving plate with a kind of Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a huge black dot with little squiggly lines around it. The black dot was equal to a black hole in space, and the squiggly lines were all the people, objects, basic atoms that got lost there. I had always thought of my vagina as a sort of anatomical vacuum, sucking up the objects and particles in the surrounding environment. I did not think of my vagina in practical or biological terms. I didn't, for example, see it as something that was attached to me. In the workshop, the woman who ran the workshop asked us to lay back down on our blue mats, grab some hand mirrors, spread our legs, and look at our vaginas. After careful examination, we were to verbally report back to the group what we had seen. I must tell you that, up until that point, everything I knew about vaginas was based on hearsay or invention. I had never really seen the thing. It had never occurred to me. My vagina existed for me on some kind of abstract plane. It felt reductive and awkward and strange looking at it as we were on our shiny blue mats with our hand mirrors. It reminded me of what early astronomers must have felt with their primitive telescopes. It was quite unsettling to me at first, my vagina. It was like the first time you see a fish cut open and you discover this whole complex, bloody world right there, right under the skin. It was so raw, so red, so fresh. But what surprised me the most was all the layers. Layers upon layers, opening up into more layers. My vagina amazed me. When it came my turn to speak in the workshop, I couldn't say anything. I was speechless. I had awakened to what the woman who runs the Vagina workshop calls vaginal wonder. I just wanted to lay there forever on my mat, on my back, with my legs spread and my hand mirror, just look at my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon, ancient and full of grace. It had the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. It was funny, very funny. It made me laugh. It could play hide and seek, it could open and close. And then the woman who ran the workshop asked how many of us in the group of women had had orgasms before. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I didn't raise my hand, even though I'd had orgasms before. I didn't raise my hand because they had been accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They would happen in my dreams, and I would wake in splendor. They happened a lot in the water, mostly in the bath, once in Cape Cod. They happened on horses, bicycles, sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. I didn't raise my hand because although I'd had orgasms, I didn't know how to make one happen. It felt like a mystical, magical process. I didn't want to interfere. It felt wrong getting involved. It felt contrived, manipulative. It felt Hollywood. The surprise would be gone, and the mystery too. The problem, of course, was that the surprise had been gone for 2 years. That's why I was in the Vagina workshop. And then the moment had arrived that I'd both dreaded and longed for. The woman who ran the workshop asked us to get back on our mats, pull out our hand mirrors, and see if we could locate our clitoris. We were there, the group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, searching for our spot, our locus, our reason. And I don't know why, but I started crying. It might have been out of sheer embarrassment. Although, honestly, it might have been the realization that I had to give up this fantasy, the enormous life-consuming fantasy that someone or something was going to come do this for me, that someone was going to come live my life, choose direction, give me orgasms. I could feel the panic coming, the simultaneous terror and realization that I had avoided looking for my clitoris, had rationalized it as mainstream and consumerist because I was in fact terrified that I did not have a clitoris, that I was one of those constitutionally incapables, one of those shut down, bitter, dry, dead, frigid, apricot tasting, oh my God. And so there I was, I lay down on my mat with my hand mirror, searching, reaching with my hands. And all I could think about was the time when I was 10 and I lost my gold ring with the emeralds at the bottom of the lake. And how I kept diving over and over again to the bottom of that lake, running my hands over pebbles and fish and bottle caps and slimy stuff, but never my ring. The panic I had felt, I knew I'd be punished. The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling, sweating, and heavy breathing. She came over. I told her, it's gone. It's gone. I have lost my clitoris. I shouldn't have worn her swimming. The woman who ran the vagina workshop laughed and calmly stroked my forehead. She told me my clitoris was not something that I could lose. It was me, the essence of me. It was both the doorbell to the house and the house itself. I didn't have to find it. I had to be it. Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I lay back down again. I closed my eyes. I put my hand mirror aside. I watched myself floating above myself. I watched as I slowly began to approach myself and re-enter. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. It was quite quiet, this re-entry, quiet and gentle. I landed and bounced, I bounced and landed. I came into my own muscles, my blood, my cells, and I slid into my vagina. It was suddenly easy and I fit. I was all warm and pulsing and ready and young and alive. And then with my eyes still closed, I reached down and I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. There was a faint quivering at first that urged me to stay. The quivering became a quake, an eruption, the layers dividing and subdividing. The quaking broke open into an ancient horizon of light and silence, which opened onto a plane of colors and music and longing and innocence, and I felt connection, calling connection as I lay there thrashing about on my little blue mat. My vagina, me.
My vagina is green. Water-soft, pink fields, cow mooing, sun resting, sweet boyfriend touching, lightly, with a soft piece of blonde straw. There's something between my legs. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it is. I do not touch. Not now. Not anymore. Not since. My vagina was chatty. Can't wait. So much saying words, talking. Can't quit trying. Can't quit saying. Oh yes. Oh, yes. But not since I dream of a dead animal sewn in down there with thick black fishing line and that bad dead animal smell cannot be removed. And its throat is slit, and its blood is leaking all over my summer dresses. My vagina singing all girl songs, all goat bell ringing songs, all wild autumn field songs, vagina songs, vagina home songs. But not since they put a long, thick rifle inside me, and so cold, the steel rod penetrating through my heart, and I didn't know whether they were gonna fire it or shove it through my spinning brain. 6 of them, monstrous doctors with black masks, shoving bottles up me too. There were sticks and an end of a broom. My vagina swimming river songs, spilling clean water over sun-baked stones, over stone clit stone, over and over. Not since I heard the skin tear and lemon screeching sounds. Not since a piece of my vagina came off in my hand, a piece of the lip. And now that side of the lip is completely gone. My vagina, a live, wet water village. My vagina, my hometown. But not since they took turns for 7 days, smelling like feces and smoked meat. They left their dirty sperm inside me. Now I have become a river of poison and pus, and all the crops died and the fish. My vagina, a live, wet water village. And they invaded it, butchered it, and burnt it down. I do not touch now. I do not visit. I live someplace else now, and I do not know where that is.
The clitoris is pure in its purpose. It is the only organ in the body designed purely for pleasure. The clitoris is simply a bundle of nerves, 8,000 fibers to be precise. Well, that's a higher concentration of nerve fibers that is found anywhere else in the male or female body, including your fingertips, your lips, or my tongue. And it is twice the size of the penis. So, who needs a handgun if you got a semi-automatic?
My
short skirt is not an invitation, a provocation, an imitation. That I want it, I give it, or that I hook. My short skirt is not begging for it. It does not want you to rip it off of me or pull it down. No, no. My short skirt is not a legal reason for raping me. Although it has been before, it will not hold up in the new court. My short skirt, believe it or not, has nothing to do with you. My short skirt is about discovering the power of my lower calves, about cool autumn air traveling up my inner thighs, about allowing everything I see or pass or feel to live inside of me. My short skirt is not proof that I am stupid or undecided or a malleable little girl. My short skirt is my defiance. I will not let you make me afraid. My short skirt is not showing off. This is who I am. Before you made me cover it or tone it down, get used to it. My short skirt is happiness. I can feel myself on the ground. I am here. I am hot. So, my short skirt is a liberation's flag in the woman's army. I declare these streets, any streets, my vagina's country. My short skirt is turquoise water with swimming colored fish, a summer festival in a starry night, a train arriving where calling in a foreign town. My short skirt is a wild spin of full breath, a tango dip. My short skirt is initiation, appreciation, excitation. But mainly my short skirt, and everything under it is mine, mine, mine.
Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. No, it's a cellar down there. It's very damp, clammy. You don't want to go down there, trust me. You'd get sick, suffocating, very nauseating. The smell of the clamminess and the mildew and everything, whew, smells unbearable, gets in your clothes. No, there was no accident down there. It didn't blow up or catch on fire or anything. It wasn't so dramatic. I mean, well, never mind. No, never mind. I can't talk to you about this. What's a smart girl like you going around talking to old ladies about their down theres for? We didn't do this kind of a thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus. Okay. There was this boy, Andy Leftkov. He was cute. Well, I thought so. And tall, like me. And I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. I can't tell you this. I can't do this, talk about down there. You just know it's there. Like the cellar. There's rumbles down there sometimes. You can hear the pipes and things get caught there, little animals and things, and it gets wet. And sometimes people have to plug up the leaks. Otherwise, the door stays closed. You forget about it. I mean, it's part of the house, but you don't see it or think about it. It has to be there though, because every house needs a cellar, otherwise the bedroom would be in the basement. Oh, Andy Leftkov, right. Andy was very good looking. He was a catch, that's what we called it in my day. We were in his car, a new white Chevy Bel Air. I remember thinking that my legs were too long for the seat. I have long legs. They were smooshed up against the dashboard. I was looking at my big kneecaps when he just kissed me in this surprisingly take me by control like they do in the movies kind of way. And I got excited, so excited. And well, there was a flood down there. I couldn't control it. It was like this force of passion, this river of life just flooded out of me, right through my panties, right onto the car seat of his new white Chevy Bel Air. It wasn't pee, and it was smelly, Well, frankly, I didn't really smell anything at all, but Andy said that it smelled like sour milk and it was staining his car seat. I was a stinky, weird girl, he said. I wanted to explain that his kiss had caught me off guard, that I wasn't normally like this. I tried to wipe the flood up with my dress. It was a new yellow primrose dress and it looked so ugly with the flood on it. Andy drove me home without saying another word, and when I got out and closed his car door, I closed the whole store, locked it, never opened for business again. I dated some after that, but the idea of flooding made me too nervous. I never even got close again. I used to have dreams, crazy dreams. Oh, they're dopey. Why? Burt Reynolds. I don't know why. He never did much for me in life, but in my dreams, it was always Burt and I, Burt and I, Burt and I. It was always the same general dream. We'd be out, Burt and I. It was some restaurant like the kind you see in Atlantic City, all big with the chandeliers and stuff and thousands of waiters with the vests. Bert would give me this orchid corsage, I'd pin it on my blazer, we'd laugh. We were always laughing, Bert and I, laughing. We'd eat shrimp cocktail, huge shrimp, fabulous shrimp. We'd laugh more. We were very happy together. Then he'd look into my eyes and pull me to him in the middle of the restaurant. And just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would fly out from under the table. I don't know what those pigeons were doing there. And the flood would come straight from down there. It would pour out of me. It would pour and pour. There would be fish inside it and little boats, and the whole restaurant would fill with my flood. And Bert would be standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed in me that I'd done it again, horrified as he watched his friends, Dean Martin and the like, swim past us in their tuxedos and evening gowns. I don't have those dreams anymore. Not since they took away just about everything connected with down there. Moved out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. The doctor thought he was being funny. He told me, if you don't use it, you lose it. But really, I found out it was cancer. Everything around it had to go. Who needs it anyway? Highly overrated. I've done other things. I love the dog shows. I sell antiques. You ask me what would it wear? What kind of question is that? What would it wear? It would wear a big sign, closed due to flooding. What would it say? I told you, it's not like that. It's not like a person who speaks. It stopped being a thing that talked a long time ago. It's a place you don't go. It's closed up, under the house. It's down there. You happy? You made me talk. You got it out of me. You got an old lady to talk about her down there. You feel better now? You know, you're the first person I ever told about this, and I feel a little better.
This is how I came to love my vagina. It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in a bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, me loving my woman's self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite. I know all of it. Like, if we'd grown up in a culture where we were taught fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, lying on our backs, spending our days thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who looked at it once, and from that moment on wished I hadn't. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. In order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. Cozy futons with little cotton comforters, little velvet cushions or leopard rugs, or pretty things like silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, or place settings. I got so accustomed to this, I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I would picture him inside of a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then, I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I ever met. He was tall and thin and nondescript and wore khaki tan clothes. Bob didn't like spicy food or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent time in the shade. Bob wasn't very funny, or articulate, or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up my change I dropped on the deli floor. When he handed me back my quarters and pennies and his hand accidentally touched mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. You see, it turns out that Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled, but most importantly, the way they looked. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. "I'm right here," I said. "No, you," Bob said. "I have to see you." "Okay, turn on the light," I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light, and then he said, "Okay, I'm ready. Ready to see you." "Right here," I said, "I'm right here." "No, you," Bob said. "I need to see you." He began to undress me. "What are you doing, Bob?" I said. "I need to see you," he said. "No need," I said. "Just do it." Bob continued. He would not stop. I wanted to throw up and die. "This is awfully intimate," I said. "Can't you just do it?" "No," Bob said. "It's who you are. I need to look." I held my breath. He looked and looked. He got breathy and his face changed. He didn't look so ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. "You're so beautiful," Bob said. "You're elegant and deep and innocent and wild." "You saw all that there?" I said. It was like he read my palm. "I saw that," he said, "and more, much, much more." He stayed looking for almost an hour, as if he were studying a map, observing the moon, staring into my eyes, but it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him looking at me, and he looked so excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way that he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell, began to feel proud, began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself there. And I was there with him, in my vagina, and we were gone.
This is a not so happy fact, found in UNICEF's 2013 report, Female Genital Mutilation and Cutting. Female genital mutilation has been inflicted on approximately 200 million girls and young women. In the 30 countries where it is being practiced, mostly in Africa, approximately 30 million young girls each decade are at risk of the knife or the razor or the glass shard to either cut their clitoris or remove it altogether. In half of the countries where it is being practiced, most of the cutting takes place before age 5. In the rest of the countries, most cutting takes place between age 5 and 14. As many as 30 million youngsters are at risk of being cut each decade if current trends persist. Short-term results include hemorrhages, tetanus, cuts in the urethra, bladder, and vaginal walls. Long-term results include chronic uterine infection, increased agony, danger during childbirth, and early death. The perpetrators of this act know that it is painful, traumatic, dangerous, yet they continue to carry it out. Why? All in a bid to suppress the woman's sexuality. Female genital mutilation is violation against human rights. Together, let's fight female genital mutilation.
My vagina's angry. It is pissed off. It is pissed off about all this shit and it needs to talk. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what is the deal? The people out there spending their days constructing psycho products to undermine my pussy? Vagina motherfuckers. Like tampons. What the hell is that? Dry water fucking cut themselves up there? Why can't they find a way to slowly lubricate the tampon? As soon as my vagina sees it, it goes into shock. It says forget it, closes off. You need to work with the vagina, introduce it to things, prepare the way. That's what foreplay is all about. You got to convince my vagina, seduce my vagina, engage my vagina's trust. You can't do that with a dry water fucking cotton. Stop shoving things up me. Stop shoving and stop cleaning it up. My vagina doesn't need to be cleaned up. It smells good already. Don't believe them when he tells you it smells like rose petals when it's supposed to smell like pussy. That's what they're doing, trying to clean it up. All these douchey sprays. Floral, berry, rain. I don't want my pussy to smell like rain. That's like washing the fish after you cooked it. I want to taste the fish. That's why I ordered it. And then there's those exams. Who got them up? There has got to be a better way to do those exams. Why the scary paper dress that scratches your teeth and crunches when you lie down so you feel like a wad of paper someone threw away? Why the rubber gloves? Why the flashlight all up in there like Nancy Drew working against gravity? The Nazi steer stirrups? Mean cold duck lips? What's that? My vagina's angry about those visits. It gets defended weeks in advance. It won't go out of the house. Then you get there. Don't you hate that? Scoot down. Relax your vagina. Why? So you can shove mean cold duck lips inside it? I don't think so. Why can't they find some nice delicious purple velvet? Wrap it around me. Lay me down on a feathery cotton spread and rest my feet in fur-covered stirrups. Warm up the duck lips. Warm with my vagina. But no, more
cutting cotton, mean cold duck lips, and thong underwear. That's the worst. Thong underwear. Who thought that up? Moves around all the time, gets stuck at the back of your crusty butt. Vagina's supposed to be loose and wide, not held together. That's why girls are so bad. We need to move and spread and talk and talk. We need comfort, we need pleasure. Make something like that, something to give them pleasure. But no, of course, they don't want that. Hate seeing women having pleasure, particularly of the sexual kind. I mean, make a nice pair of soft cotton underwear with a French tickler built in it. Women would be coming all day long. Coming in the supermarket, coming in the subway, coming happy vaginas. They wouldn't be able to stand it. Seeing all those energized, hot, happy, not taking shit vaginas. If my vagina could talk, it would talk about itself, like me. It would talk about other vaginas. It would do vagina impressions. It would be wearing Tiffany diamonds, no clothing, just standing here casually, all draped in diamonds. My vagina helped release a giant baby. It thought it would be doing more of that. It's not. Now it wants to travel, doesn't want a lot of company. It wants to read and know things, get out more. It wants sex, it loves sex. It wants to go deeper, it's hungry for that. It wants kindness. It wants change, it wants warm kisses and gentle touches. It wants chocolate. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to want. It wants. My vagina, well, it wants everything.
Memory, December 1965, 5 years old. My mama tells me in a scary, loud and life-threatening voice to stop scratching my coochie snorcher. I become terrified that I've scratched it off down there. I do not touch myself again, even in the bath. I was so afraid of the water coming in and filling me up, so I explode. I put Band-Aid over my coochie to cover the hole, but it keeps coming off of the water. I imagine a stopper, a bathtub plugged in there to prevent things from entering me. I even sleep with 3 pairs of happy heart-shaped cotton underwear underneath my snap-up pajamas. I still want to touch myself sometimes, but I don't. Memory, 7 years old. Edgar Montaigne, who is 10, gets so angry at me and punches me with all his might between my legs. It feels like it breaks my entire self. I limp home, I can't pee. My mama asks me, what is wrong with your coochie snorcher? And when I tell her what Edgar did to me, she yells at me and says never to let anyone touch you down there again. I try to explain that, Mama, he didn't touch it. He punched it. Memory, 9 years old. I play on the bed, jumping and falling, and I impale my coochie snorcher on the bedpost. I make high-pitched, screaming noises that's coming straight out of my coochie snorcher's mouth. I get taken to the hospital and they saw it down there from where it's been torn apart.
Memory. 10 years old. I was in my father's house and they're having a party upstairs, everyone's drinking. I was alone at the basement and I'm trying on this new white cotton underwear that my father's girlfriend gave me. Suddenly, my father's best friend, this big man Alfred, he came from behind me and he starts to pull my underwear down and he tries to stick his big hard penis inside my Gucci snorcher. I scream, I kick, I try to fight him off, but he already gets in. My father's there then, and he has a gun, and I hear this loud, horrible sound, and the next thing I knew, there's just blood all over the floor, and all over me, and all over Alfred's body, and I finally felt that my Gucci snorcher is falling apart. Alfred's body is paralyzed for life, and my mama, she didn't let me see my father again for 7 years. Memory. 13 years old. My Gucci snorcher. It is a very bad place. It's a place of nastiness, of punching, of pain, of invasion, and of blood. It's a site for mishaps. It's a bad luck zone. Sometimes I imagine a freeway between my legs, and I just want to travel. I just want to go away, far and far and far away from here. Memory. 16 years old. There is this gorgeous 24-year-old woman in our neighborhood. I don't know, I just can't help but to stare at her all the time. One day, she invited me to her car and she asked me if I like to kiss boys, and I say, I don't do that. Then she says she wants to show me something. Then she leans over me and she puts her lips into my lips and she puts her tongue into my mouth. Oh, wow. She asked me if I want to come over to her house and she kisses me again and she tells me to relax. Relax. Feel it. Let our tongues feel it. She asked my mama if I can stay over the night, and my mama, she is so delighted. Such a beautiful and successful woman has taken an interest in me. I am so scared, but really, I can't wait. Her apartment's fantastic. It's the 70s. There's floppy pillows, the beats, the mood lights. I decided right there and then that I wanted to be a secretary, just like her when I grow up. Then she starts to make vodka for herself and she asks me what I want to drink, and I tell her, whatever you're drinking. She said, your mama probably wouldn't want you drinking vodka. And then I tell her, well, my mama probably wouldn't want me kissing girls either. So the pretty lady makes me a drink. Then she changes into this chocolate satin teddy. I always thought that bull daggers were ugly. And then I tell her, you are so beautiful. And she tells me, so do you. But then I tell her, but I'm only wearing this white cotton underwear. Then she starts to dress me slowly into another satin teddy. It's lavender, like the first color of spring. Oh, the alcohol has gone over to my head and I am so loose and I'm so ready. So she lays me down on the bed, slowly, and just our bodies rubbing. Just our bodies rubbing makes me come. She said, your vagina, untouched by men, feels so good and so fresh. I wish I could keep it that way forever. Oh God, I got so wild. And then the phone rings. Shit, the phone rings and it's my mama. She probably knew, she knows everything. So I try to act normal. And when I get on the phone, she says, what is wrong with you? Have you been running? And I say, no, Mama, no, I am exercising. Afterwards, she tells the pretty lady to make sure I'm not around boys, and the pretty lady tells her, trust me, there is no boy around here. Afterwards, the pretty lady teaches me everything about my coochie snorcher. She makes me play with myself in front of her, and she teaches me all the different ways to give myself pleasure. She's very thorough. She says, always know how to give yourself pleasure so that you'll never have to rely on a man. In the morning, I was so afraid that I'd become a butch because I'm just so in love with her. She just laughs, but I never see her again. I realized later that she was my surprising, unexpected, and politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass coochie snorcher and raised it up into a kind of heaven.
I call it cunt. I've reclaimed it. Cunt. I really like it. Cunt. Listen to it. Cunt. Cavern, cackle, clit, cute, come closed inside, then you, then coo, then curvy, inviting shark skin, you, uniform, under, up, urge, ooh, then N, then con, snug, letters fitting perfectly together, nest, now, nexus, nice, always depth, always round in uppercase, a jagged, wicked electrical pulse, then soft, warm, then sharp, certain tangy tea, texture, take, tent, tight, tensing, tantalizing taste, tendrils, time, tactile, tell me cunt, say it, tell me cunt, tell me, I want to hear you, say it, cunt. A 6-year-old girl was asked, if your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
Red high tops and a cap worn backwards.
If it could speak, what would it say?
Words that begin with V or T. Turtle and violin are examples.
What does your vagina remind you of?
A pretty dark peach. Or a diamond I found from a treasure, and it's mine.
What's special about your vagina?
Somewhere deep, deep down, it has a really, really smart brain.
What does it smell like?
Snowflakes.
I love vaginas. I love women. I do not see them as separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. I did not start out like this. No, to the contrary. I started out as a lawyer, but in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. It began as a mission of sorts, but then I got involved in it. I got very good at it, kind of brilliant. It was my art. I started getting paid for it. It was as if I had found my calling. I wore outrageous outfits when I dominated women. Lace and silk and leather, and I used props, whips, handcuffs, rope, dildos. There was nothing like this in Tafla. There were no props, no excitement, and I hated those blue corporate suits. Although I wore them from time to time in my new line of work, they served quite nicely. There were no props in corporate law. No dark, mysterious foreplay. No erect nipples. No delicious mouth. But mainly, there was no moaning. Not the kind I'm talking about anyways. This was the key. I see now. Moaning was the thing that ultimately seduced me and got me addicted to making women happy. When I was a little girl, and I would see women in the movies making love, making strange orgasmic moaning noises, I used to laugh. I got strangely hysterical. I couldn't believe that big, outrageous Uncle Vern sound like that came out of women. I longed to moan. I practiced in front of my mirror on a tape recorder, moaning in various tones, various keys. But always when I played back, it sounded fake. It was fake. It wasn't rude in anything sexual, really. Only in my desire to be sexual. But then when I was 10 and I had to pee really badly once on a car trip, I went on for almost an hour. When I finally got to pee in this very little gas station, I was so excited. I moaned as I peed. I couldn't believe it. Me moaning at the Exacqua station in the middle of Louisiana. I realized right then that moans are connected with not getting what you want right away, with putting things off. I realized moans were best when they catch you by surprise. They came out of this hiding, mysterious part of you that was speaking its own language. I realized that moans were, in fact, that language. I became a moaner. It made most men anxious. Frankly, it terrified them. I was loud and they couldn't concentrate on what they were doing. They would lose focus. Then, they would lose everything. We couldn't make love in people's homes. The walls were too thin. I got a reputation in my building and people stared at me with contempt in the elevator. Men thought I was too intense. Some called me insane. I began to feel bad about moaning. I got quiet and polite. I made noise into a pillow. I learned to choke my moan, hold it back like a sneeze. I began to get headaches and stress-related disorders. I was becoming hopeless when I discovered women. I discovered that most women love my moaning. But more importantly, I discovered how deeply excited I got when other women moan, when I am responsible for other women moaning. I made love to quiet women, and I found this place inside them, and they shock themselves in their moan. I made love to women, and I found a deeper, more penetrating moan. It was a kind of surgery, a kind of delicate science, finding the tempo, the exact location, or hum of the moon, that's how I call it. Sometimes I found it over a woman's shins. Sometimes snuck up on it. Off the record, quietly disarming the surrounding alarms and moving in. Sometimes I use props. I love props. Sometimes it was simple Monday while we were eating salad and chicken, just casual, just right there with my fingers. Here it is like that, all mixed in with balsamic vinegar. Sometimes I use props. I love props. I let the woman find her own moon in front of me. I waited, stuck it out until she opened herself. I wasn't fooled by the minor, most obvious moan. No, I pushed her further, all the way into her power moan. There is the click moan, vagina moan. There is the combo click vagina moan. There is the almost moan, the Ryan Eat moan, the elegant moan, The Jewish one, the Irish Catholic one,
Oh God, Jesus Christ!
the Japanese one, the African American one, oh shit, the mountain top one, the baby one, the doggy one, the uninhibited militant bisexual one, the machine gun one, the torture sandman, the diva one, the college man, I should be started! And finally, the surprise triple orgasm man. Oh no! Oh shit! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Okay. Grace, can you come sit up front for a second with your bucket? Okay, thank you everyone for your attendance and support of the UP's production of the Vagina Monologues. We hope you enjoyed the show and invite you to continue the conversation with the cast and guests over complimentary snacks and refreshments right outside in the red building over there. And if you're feeling extra blessed with heavy pockets tonight, please feel free to spread the love by making a donation towards Casa DEI, which is a reception center for migrant and refugee applicants seeking a safe place, especially for single mothers and the LGBTIQ+ community. And our lovely Janice will be outside to assist with donations. And one final announcement. You may have noticed the beautiful mural outside, which was made by more of our talented UPcers here, and we encourage you to take photos and post your thoughts on tonight's show on your social media accounts with the hashtag 10 years of making vaginas happy, in honor of our tireless director who went above and beyond to make this show come together for all of us tonight in her 10th year of performing and directing the Vagina Monologues. So please show some love for the one and only me. To say that this wouldn't be possible with so many people in hands supporting us, all these wonderful, powerful, and empowered women. And also the support of so many people at UPeace. You know who they are because they've been like decorating, finding the place, taking pictures, and recording, and making live streaming. So thank you. And of course you that came. This room is full and it's full of energy and amazing people. So thank you for coming. Woo!